2022, an interesting year for films. Here are 5 of my favourites. There are no rules, except the ones I make. Number 5. The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. The Batman is an interesting film, as it doesn't follow your typical superhero formula. You know, the likes of what Marvel's been doing for a while now, and DC just copies. So much CGI. Instead, being a detective film, using the Riddler as its main villain. Great choice. With a mostly great cast, special shoutouts go to Robert Pattinson and Colin Farrell as Batman and the Penguin respectively. And when it comes to action, there's not a lot of it, but when there is action, it's great and well choreographed. But this is more of a detective film, so it's mainly focused on finding clues, solving riddles, a bit like the film Seven, but with Batman. And honestly, it's a breath of fresh air in the superhero genre. But there is a big problem that persists through the entire film. Catwoman! Sorry for shouting. Played by Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, she ain't great in the film. She's the worst part by far, which is frustrating. Catwoman is one of my favourite Batman characters. Now, maybe it's because they changed so much of the character from the source material, or maybe because Catwoman has the worst line of dialogue in the entire film.
All anyone cares about in this place are these white privileged assholes.
Or maybe it's just because I don't like how the actress talks about things. I don't know. But I cannot justify Batman being any higher than number 5. So let's just move on. Oh yeah, and the third act is a needless add-on. Number 4. The Northman, directed by Robert Edgar. I haven't seen his other films yet, but now I want to. Such is the testament to how different and interesting this film is. Except the plot. The Northman does follow your basic revenge plot. Man kills dad, dad's boy grows up, becomes man wants revenge. But it's how it's told, and more impressively, how it's shot. This film has some beautiful imagery in it, and aiding it, we dive into some lovely Norse mythology. But at the heart of this film is revenge, and how it rots away at a man from the inside, focusing on their simple-minded goal of revenge, not being able to see past that and what they could have. With great acting, great action, and some compelling twists that I didn't see coming. I do have some problems though. It's long and slow at some points, especially when you have a great action scene and you come down and if we move into some farm stuff. It's still a great film that I recommend you watch at least once. But I know this isn't for everybody. But it is nice to have a story about revenge that doesn't destroy a whole video game franchise. Number 3. Top Gun Maverick, directed by Joseph Kosinski. Alright, let's start this one off with a hot take. I don't like the first Top Gun. And the reason I don't is probably the main reason why I like Maverick so much. Tom Cruise. Sorry to say, but his acting's not good in the first film. But with a gap of 36 years between Top Guns, oh my gosh, Tom Cruise has been acting for over 36 years. Tom Cruise finally brought the charisma Maverick should have had. That 36 years is not just real lifetime, but in universe time has moved forward as well. Maverick's older now. Iceman's position and health is in a different state, as well as Goose's son is all grown up. We get a lot of new young faces in this, and it feels natural, mainly because we never lose focus from Maverick. This is still his film after all. I can't think of much to say. It's a great sequel, that has the best of modern filmmaking in it. Everything looks real. It feels like a throwback to the way films used to be written, and definitely helps that Tom Cruise is still its leading man. I can't think of much else to say. It's good. Number 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, directed by Jeff Fowler. I know it's a very weird choice, but this is my list and I do what I want. Only reason this being ahead of Maverick is because I can think of more positive things to say about this film. The cast is great, especially Idris Elba, but especially Jim Carrey. The action is better than the first one, which was still pretty good. Using the video games as building blocks and adding stuff in when it works, like the Master Emerald being the MacGuffin everyone's after, just like the games. And we get a giant death egg robot, not a spoiler, it's in the trailer, and super... Stop! That is a spoiler. Point being, this film goes hard, and adding new elements and characters from the games, making it feel natural. While this is still Sonic vs Eggman, adding Tails and Knuckles into this only makes it better. There's a lot more praise I could give, like Knuckles' redemption as a character, as being executed better than any of his recent portrayals in the game. Tails just being so cute, and keeping his voice actress from the games is a nice touch. And Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey. Sonic has still got his cocky side and has a good character arc in the film. Human characters are still whatever, but I don't mind. I had so much fun watching this film. And with a teaser of Shadow in Sonic 3, I hope they don't mess it up and make him some edgy edgelord. There's a lot more I could talk about, but I don't want to be here forever, so let's just move on and say I am satisfied with Sonic 2. But before we get on to number 1, here are some honourable mentions. Avatar 2: The Way of Water. It's fine. Too long for its own good. It's got some gorgeous CGI, but the story is weak, and if you like the first one, you'll like this one. Bullet Train. A fun action romp with some Guy Ritchie inspired storytelling. It doesn't do too much to break the mold, but it's not trying to. It's just trying to give you a good time. Dragon Ball Superhero. A fun Dragon Ball story that focuses on side characters like Piccolo and Gohan. The story's not too grand, but it doesn't need to be, and the 3D animation does take a while to get used to. Also, the final battle boss was disappointing. Still fun though. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Who decided to give Guillermo del Toro a stop-motion Pinocchio film? Give him a cookie. For all of that Guillermo del Toro flair, the story of Pinocchio is Pinocchio. It does take liberties with the source material. The ending wasn't what I expected at all, and I'm not sure if I like that or not. What I didn't like so much was the music. Felt very tacked on and Disney-fied. Still has some beautiful stop-motion animation, the cast is great, and it beats the crap out of whatever Disney's been doing with Pinocchio recently. Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish. Yeah, this film didn't make the cut because of one stupid reason. In the UK, it didn't come out in 2022, instead coming out in early 2023. If it actually came out in 2022, I would have put it on this list. And the final honourable mention is the films I haven't watched or don't know about. So if your favourite film of 2022 isn't on this list, just put it in this section. Okay, let's move on to number 1. One Piece Film Red, directed by Goro Taniguchi. This is my favourite film of 2022 because it's the one I enjoyed the most. For nearly 2 hours, I was grinning from ear to ear. Now, I am a fan of the One Piece series, which does help a lot towards my enjoyment of this film. So I am coming at this from a fan's perspective. And there is a lot of fan service and characters who appear throughout the One Piece series that, if you're not into, would be lost on someone's first time viewing. But to a seasoned fan, it's great. And I couldn't help putting it at number 1. Seeing all my favourite Straw Hats on the big screen with some gorgeous animation and some fun Japanese pop songs. Oh yeah, it's a musical sometimes, thanks to the new character Uta, whom I like for the most part. There is a little bit of retconning to make Uta fit into Shanks and Luffy's backstory. The plot is basic, but that's not a bad thing here. We start our musical adventure at a concert, Uta's concert to be exact, which quickly goes wrong, and we get into some action, music, backstory, character development. Oh yeah, and Shanks is here. Put it all together, give it that One Piece charm, and you got a recipe for what I think is the best One Piece film yet, and my favourite film of 2022. I haven't seen all of the One Piece films yet. It's biased, I know, but this film somehow combines everything I love about the series in under 2 hours. I've watched it dubbed, I've watched it subbed multiple times, and I'm going to watch it multiple times more. And that's why this is my favourite film of 2022. So, yeah, that's my list. Did you like it? How was your 2022? And thanks for watching. Now, do the Frankie.